Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
This is Unusual Machines. They were awarded the largest ever contract with the U.S. Army in October of 2025. This is Cerebras Systems. This company was awarded a government contract worth, checks notes, $45 million in April of 2025. The mainstream media fails. They fail you, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And we got some stuff to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about that, once again, the mainstream media is not talking about. We're seeing some reports on this story only from podcasters and some print media. And of course, you're going to need to go to ground news to find real news these days, because whatever's out there in cable TV land, you're not going to get it. There's better news out there. Ground news has very quickly become one of my most prized resources, my go-to even, because I get to find out what stories are not covered by the blind spot feature, which I love. But not just the blind spot feature. Any of the stories that I bring up, I can see what either side is saying about it. I can also see who's paying for those headlines. It tells me who owns the publication, which also lets me know who they're writing it for. Many times, none of that is for us. But understanding the context helps us understand the story. Ground news is absolutely one of, if not the best way to know that you've gotten every side of a story and that there's not enough spin in the world that could have you misinterpret it. Now, I want to talk about the brand new startup company in North Carolina. And this company is called Vulcan Elements. It began in August 2025. They're based in Durham, North Carolina area, I believe. Now, I want to read their mission statement to you guys. To build a rare earth magnet solution that can propel the United States into the 21st century, thereby enhancing American economic dynamism and national security by strengthening the domestic supply chain. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. They want the supply chain for rare earth battery production to be completely independent of the need of the Chinese resources, is what I'm getting here, right? And this is incredibly important to maintain the security of our own domestic production and the needs. This makes us more secure, safer, and probably more competitive on the global stage, if I'm honest. They're projecting adding over 1,000 jobs in the Raleigh-Durham area. And the company will add literally billions of dollars to the state and local economies. That's if ICE ever gets out of there and has people come back out of their homes. Because right now, that economy is dying because people are stuck in their houses scared they're going to get picked up by ICE. But that's another story for another day. This is Vulcan's goal. This is the noble goal of Vulcan. The chief technical officer and co-founder at Vulcan Elements is a man named, Piotr Kulik. Currently, the use of recycled rare earth materials in domestic production is about 1%. Vulcan Elements has partnered with a recycling company called Relements, I think. Their goal is to increase recycling of these materials dramatically. Yes. So the startup company is good for the environment through recycling, good for the national security of the U.S. and our allies, and our economic godsend to North Carolina. So what could be wrong here? What could possibly be the problem with Piotr Kulnik? It's this guy. Let me explain. In 2024, Don Jr. joined an investment firm called 1789 Capital. He later became a partner of 1789 Capital. Now, remember, Vulcan Elements is a new startup only formed in August of this year. In November, the startup received a $620 million loan from the Department of Defense, the Office of Strategic Capital. Another $80 million in loans went to Relements. for a total of $700 million to the partnership. The Department of Commerce, I think, added another $50 million in loans to the venture for a total of $750 million now. Don Jr. and 1789 Capital invested in Vulcan Elements 3 months prior to this. Start in August, swimming in money in November, invested in by the president's fucking son 3 months earlier. Now, drill sergeant, you're going to say to me, the president's son has a right to earn a living. Really? Because did Hunter have a right to earn a living? But I digress. We're not even there yet. You might say that this is just a coincidence, right? Don Jr. just got lucky. I'm sorry. I'm not going to insult your intelligence like that because you already know. But in case some MAGA idiot out there is asking these questions because they can't put it together, there's the next one. Was this company a coincidence too? This company a coincidence as well? This is Unusual Machines. They were awarded the largest ever contract with the U.S. Army in October of 2025. October. Don Jr. became an investor and advisor in the board of directors in November of 2024. What about this company? Is this a coincidence too? This is Cerebras Systems. This company was awarded a government contract worth, checks notes, $45 million in April of 2025. Don Jr., what? Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Did Don Jr. and 1789, the company, not the year, invest in that too? Well, Drill Sergeant, when was that? September of 2025. Let's see, November, September, October, November. That's a pretty fucking big coincidence, and a lot of them. Month after month. Not enough? I got you. What about this company? Firehawk Aerospace. 2 government contracts were awarded. One in June of 2025. The other in September of 2025. And Don Jr. invested in it twice. In January and in, say it with me, September. That's not how coincidences work. So for those of us with an IQ over 80, you understand where we are. And for the rest of you maggots out there that are still drooling at the TV screen or the computer screen or that device in your hand, you know, the one that gets feed from a satellite, from the place where you say doesn't exist because the earth is flat. Space. It went over your head. For the rest of you idiots, well, I'm not done yet. What about this company? Quantum. Don Jr. is invested here too. The company that recently received a government contract worth $10.8 million. So this is not just coincidence, people. That's the point. This is corruption. Corruption at the highest levels of our government. This is 5 companies that the president's son is invested that have received giant government contracts. At the very least, we're looking at insider trading here, right? Especially because you know that Don Jr. has the prior knowledge of companies that are set to receive huge government contracts because coincidences, like I said, don't work like that. But worse, this could be President Daddy ordering specific agencies within the federal government to award contracts to companies in which his son is invested. And considering how his daddy bailed him out, it seems to me like maybe that's what he's doing too. Like father, like son, like grandson. It's a lineage of evil, a lineage of incompetence. And as racist as Father Daddy Trump, the original foreigner who came here and made his money, if not in a unscrupulous way, but at least legally, he'd be turning over. Well, no, he wouldn't be. because he died with dementia. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Comes down from heaven.
That's why his own son, Donald Trump, tried to fool him while he was out of his senses and didn't even know who he was, into giving him the rights to all of his siblings' inheritance. Donald Trump did. Tried to get his demented father, full of dementia at the time, to sign something that gave him, Donald Trump, all of his siblings' inheritance. And his own mother had to stop him. These are the people who run our country, okay? So whether or not it's insider trading or daddy doing what his daddy did, either way, this appears to be the president of the United States funneling hundreds of millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, our dollars, straight into the son's pocket. Let's look at some of the other people involved in 1789 Capitol. Peter Thiel. Enough said, right? Peter Thiel is reported to have been involved early in the formation of this company, maybe one of its founders. Now, Chris Buskirk, this is an interesting fellow as well. He was involved with Peter Thiel's investment company, and he now sits on the board of 1789 Capital, as well as Blake Masters. Omid Malik and Rebecca Mercer, if I get their names correct, are also reported as founders of 1789 Capital. These people are all huge donors to the Trump campaign and other Republican candidates, not just Trump. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in donations to Republican candidates. So are we starting to get a good picture of the closed-looped corruption here? Major donors to the Trump campaign joined 1789 Capital to gain profits from investments into companies they know will benefit from government contracts. We're getting it. Are we getting it? If you don't get it, then maybe you too can work for CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News. Because where's the reporting on this? ABC, where's the reporting on this? This is how wealthy donors gain a return on investment from their campaign donations, people. And why is the mainstream media not asking these same questions? What about Congress? What about Congress? Where are they? Is there no investigation in the Finance Committee? Is there no investigation in the Armed Services Committee? When the Department of Defense, well, that's right, you guys haven't passed an audit in about 100 fucking years. What about the Oversight Committee? No? Nothing? I'll tell you what. This feckless, flaccid, limp Micro Johnson pictured here, this corrupt piece of shit here, this is why there's no investigations. That's why. This is why it's important. This is why we're fighting. This is why it's so important to vote this time, people. This is why we cannot sit on the couch. We must take Congress back, people. My fellow citizens, my fellow resistors. We've got to take Congress back, not because we believe in this one or that one, but because we're making a conscious decision to stay in the fight, to continue the fight, and investigate, bring accountability to criminals like this. That's why. That's why this news matters. Tomorrow we fight. Guys, I'm doing something very special for Ukraine. I want you to go down there to the comment section. Ukraine is in need of trucks, and I'm trying to raise some money for them to get trucks in the name of the company or the name of the NGO, non-government organization. It's a charity. It is Car for Ukraine. I did a whole speech about it last time. I'll put up another video, and I don't want to be embarrassed, man. They got all these other people, all these other YouTube stations that are already beating me. Wait a minute. No, they're not. Ever since I put that out yesterday, you guys came through. You guys came through. I'm now number 2. I was number 1 for a minute, and then whoever this is, whoever that is, they became number 1. You guys did it. I knew you could. So it's going on till Christmas. Give a little now, give a little more later. Keep on going. It's going to be on for like 8 weeks, actually. So just give what you can. They're fighting over there. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.